Hey guys, Sean here again with another edition of Mostly Metal. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned of an auction I won online, couple auctions online. These were overseas auctions where you bid on lots basically. And sometimes they give you a description of some of what's in there to kind of pique your interest and get you to bid on it. But you really don't know what else is in it. So what I'm going to do is blindly, for the most part, a couple things I've looked at, but I'm going to blindly just pull stuff out. Some of it's from the UK, so I may not know anything about it, so it's going to be more of a show and tell. So unfortunately, I can't give you a lot of background on some of this stuff on what it is, but if I do happen to know about it, which some of the stuff I do, or else I wouldn't have bid on it, obviously. We're just going to jump into it. This is a mixture of 45s, 10 inches, different genres of music, some country, a lot of punk and metal. And we're just going to jump into it here. So this first thing is it looks like this came out on Sub Pop. It's called Hype boxed set. I think this probably came out around the time of when, if you look on the front here, grunge was probably a thing here. We got Soundgarden. Who else is on here? Nirvana. I can't read that very well. Some other bands on here you may have heard of. Mudhoney, of course. Mono Men, I remember them. Looks like it's a box with a big ass poster. I'm not going to unravel this whole thing, but it's a huge poster that looks like a lot of different flyers and stuff from different bands. And each 45, as you can see here, they're all different colors. It looks like we got the U-Men on one side on this one, and Soundgarden, Nothing to Say. I'm not familiar with that song from Soundgarden, so that's probably Louder Than Love era Soundgarden, I'm going to guess. The Wipers, I've heard of. Mudhoney. This looks like, let's see. Touch Me, I'm Sick by Mudhoney, and then Negative Creep by Nirvana. And Touch Me, I'm Sick, I think, is a live version. This is Gas Huffer and Girl Trouble, who I'm not really familiar with. And then we've got the Fastbacks and Young Fresh Fellows. Not familiar with them, but kind of a cool little multi-vinyl collection. Oops, not going to be mint if I keep fucking around with it here, but it's kind of cool. I think it looks like a puzzle piece, so if you start putting the records together, you put two of them together, it spells out Sub Pop. So that's kind of cool, I guess. So might listen to some of these songs that I'm not familiar with. I was a Soundgarden and Nirvana and Mudhoney fan back probably around the same time some of y'all were, when grunge was kind of at its peak, so to speak, or just getting started, and all the hype was around to Nirvana, Soundgarden, etc. This next one is called, looks like another box set here, 8 songs for Greg Sage and the Wipers. This is a box set. First time I saw it, I thought it was Napalm Death, but it's Napalm Beach. Nirvana's on this one too. Poison Idea, great punk band from the late 80s who they did a song called, first heard about Poison Idea, they Nirvana, I'm sorry, I'm on this Nirvana kick. Pantera did a song called, or a cover of a song called The Badge. And at the time, I thought it was a Pantera song. I heard it, I think it was a B-side on the single. And through some digging, thanks to when the internet finally took off, I was able to figure out that The Badge was actually done by Poison Idea. So that was a cover song, and I loved the version that Pantera did. So that kind of got me into Poison Idea. Hole is on here too. Never cared for Hole. Courtney Love's band, married to Kurt Cobain. You guys know all that bullshit. Comes with a little insert. It appears this is a tribute to the Wipers, who came out of Portland in 1977, it looks like. So I don't know if one of the members passed away. This seems like it's a tribute, but could be wrong there. Again, this comes with 4 7-inch records. The first one is it's pink. It's got the Napalm Beach and M99. Not familiar with either band, but it has a picture of each band and pink vinyl. Kind of cool. Nirvana, Return of the Rat, and Poison Idea up front. Looking forward to listening to that particular 7-inch. There's Nirvana. That's what Poison Idea looks like. Dharma Burns and Cracker Bash, white vinyl. Never heard of either one of these bands. We'll check that out. And then we've got Hole Over the Edge and Wordless, Land of the Lost. We got some blue vinyl there. So a couple cool little box sets there. Looking forward to listening to some of these songs that I'm not familiar with, but I'm familiar with the bands, so that's kind of cool. Next up, we have, this is a Square. What the fuck is this? So this is a Square record. It looks like some kind of a flexi type thing. So it's a Square green marble record. Looks like it's the Prophetess Embrace My Love on Mask Records, MASQUE. This is I believe they call these 8-inch records, but this is obviously the part that you play, but you can actually put this whole slab on your record player, supposedly. I've never owned an 8-inch record, but I do now. So we'll see what they sound like. It comes with a little Prophetess insert. Looks like came out in 1993 on Mask Records out of Maywood, California. And this is the insert. Looks like just an 8-inch single, which is kind of cool. It's new to me in the vinyl world. Like I said, I've heard about these kinds of records, but never owned one. So if you know anything about any of these bands that I'm mentioning, please link me in the comment section to some music. I'm always looking for new music to listen to, even if I have to go back in time a little bit. I find these days new music that I really enjoy seems to be few and far between, but I do my best. Space Lord from Monster Magnet. This is a 7-inch picture disc. You guys, if you listen to any cock rock radio in the 2000s, you've heard, Space Lord, Mother, I think is the censored version on the radio. But I like Monster Magnet. I got to see them live once, many years ago. Unfortunately, I was supposed to see Caius at the same show at a small club called Mississippi Nights down in St. Louis, and Monster Magnet played, but Caius broke up, I believe, right before that. Someone may have to fact check me on when Caius broke up, but I think it was on that tour. And I want to say the Deftones opened up, so replacing Caius with Deftones didn't go over well. Now, Deftones, to their credit, they did play a Slayer cover. I think they kind of knew their audience. This was before the Deftones. Around the Fur wasn't out yet. So they were touring on Board, their first album, which is extremely new metal. Unfortunately, they get lumped into the new metal genre still, and I think they've kind of broken off from the pack. But this is a Marilyn Manson picture disc, 10-inch. This is the new shit. And it looks like it has Marilyn Manson designed the cover, or whatever this is, not the cover. And it looks like the album version is on side A. Side B, it has Marilyn Manson with Goldfrapp is on here. So I've heard of Goldfrapp. A buddy of mine loves Goldfrapp. I've gotten into her a little bit. I don't know if it's a her. Well, I don't know if it's a her, but if it's like a band or if she's a solo artist. But curious to hear what she does for this song, because this is the new shit. I didn't think was a good song at all when it came out. Thought it was kind of terrible, actually. So what else do we have here? I'm going to go through a few more of these things. I don't know who this band is. Jin vs. Army of Flying Robots. No idea here. Record label. Don't see anything on the back. It's a kind of a cool looking record. It's kind of like a black and red swirl type album. It's got, looks like an insert with potentially some lyrics, some drawings, and looks like an advertisement for some kind of a punk rock website that probably is not in existence anymore. Black Lodge Distribution. Again, a lot of these records are not new, so some of this shit came out in the 90s. I think some of it, when I was on the auction, I think some of it is even newer than that. Or sorry, older than the 90s. So not sure what I'm going to run into here with some of these records. Okay, we'll just put that aside for now. You guys don't want to watch me try to pack a record up. Next, we have, what's this? I know this. Yeah, Poison the Well. Ghost Chant. This looks like a Ghost Chant side A. Side B has Mid-Air Love Message, which is a non-album song, and then Sticks and Stones Never Made Sense demo. So this was off. You Come Before You was the album, if I remember right. I actually owned the album. Cover looked very similar to this. This is limited out of 2000, I think. So this is number 1105. And it looks like we got some kind of a reddish pink vinyl. Poison the Well was kind of a emo-ish hardcore band from the, I get my 90s and my 2000s blurred together. I guess they were from the 2000s. I suppose I could look at the fucking copyright date on this, but 2003. So they had a couple albums I enjoyed. This one, You Come Before You, I actually liked at one time. I guess you'd call them emo hardcore, but not emo like cheesy, whiny vocals. The vocals were extremely heavy, but sometimes some of the subject matter was a little soft for some metal folks. So there was always seemed to be this big divide in the 2000s about what was hardcore and what wasn't. But these guys toured with hardcore bands and stuff, so it might have just been the metal crowd and the hardcore crowd still kind of button heads. Next up, I think I'm reading this right. I can't read it. Something Wound City. I'm going to say Head Wound City. That would make sense. Never heard of this band before, but it does look like this came out on 31G Records. I know that is a record label ran by, I believe his name is Justin Pearson. Kind of a yellow, marbly white record. Justin Pearson is in the band Retox, if my memory serves me correctly. I believe he now does PR for bands as well. He's got quite a background, and I apologize. I don't know much else about the bands he's been in, but he's a well-traveled fellow. His label's out of San Diego, California. He's been in a lot of bands. A lot of, if anything like the stuff he's typically put out or into, this is probably very experimental, different. He's got a very eclectic taste as far as the music goes. If you've ever listened to Retox, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's probably the most straightforward stuff he's done. But I'm curious to check this out and see what it sounds like. Like I said, he's always putting out, well, he's always been involved with bands that are kind of on the outskirts of what is considered normal. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. Next up, oh dear Lord. So this is P.O.D. Will You? Looks like a 10-inch picture disc. I say oh Lord because P.O.D., if I remember right, stands for Payable on Death. These guys were kind of like a rap / metal type band. They had a lot of kind of rap mixed with metal, I guess, kind of like Papa Roach in a way, you know, where they have kind of like the verse that's kind of like a hooda dooda hooda, and then they have the heavy chorus that's kind of catchy, and then they go back into the rap. Not my P.O.D is not my thing. You know, I'm not gonna knock anybody that likes them or the band themselves. It's just not my cup of tea. They never did anything from them. They had a song on MTV. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm getting old now. Played it constantly. I think I Feel So Alive for the very first time was the lyrics. I'd have to go look it up. Maybe I'll link it below, see if you guys actually like it. This one is a band I've heard of. They were hyped quite a bit. This is At the Drive-In. And this is Via. This came out on Fearless Records. Little blue and yellow insert with some credits and lyrics. And let's see if this is a colored vinyl. Not really colored, it's white. These guys were hyped to hell back in the, I want to say it was 2000s, maybe early 2000s. I never got the appeal of At the Drive-In. I remember the singer or the guitar player, maybe both of them, had this poofy fucking black hair, and every time they performed, I see them on TV, they would just shake their fucking head around. It was just rock music to me, kind of a independent rock, alternative, whatever you want to call it. Some of it was heavy, but again, just not my cup of tea. Fearless Records out of California, by the way. They put out a lot of punk and pop punk stuff back in the day. Might give this a spin. I haven't listened to At the Drive-In in a super long time, so I may give them a whirl. Maybe I've grown up a little bit and decided they're maybe not that bad. We'll see. I'm gonna grab a couple more things here. I've got a shit ton of stuff to get through, just so you guys know. So this is, no idea. This is Dead Inside. Cool name for a band, I guess. This came out in 2001 on, I think, their own record label. Looks like it's got some kind of cool packaging, because it does. This is the outer part, and it kind of flips open here to a blank. The inside of that is blank, and it's the actual album and jacket. Based on the pictures here, we're going to go with hardcore type emo band, I'm going to guess. This is on, it's just straight up white vinyl. Curious to see what these guys sound like. Hardcore in the 2000s was hit or miss, in my opinion. It looks like this came out on Wakusei Records. Wakusei. Shit. A lot of the shit's not going to be in mint condition after I get done with it. Know zero about this, so not much I can say, but I am curious to check it out. I do like how when you take the cover off, the Dead Inside part actually is part of the actual album there. They did it so that when you opened it, you could still see the band name. Attention to detail. I appreciate that. So we'll give this a spin. Last but not least, let's see if we can make it a good one. Oh, yes, we did. Wow, this is a surprise. Agoraphobic Nosebleed. Front and back. Love this band. Do not own this 10-inch, so I am excited to get this. These guys are... let's talk about the innards real quick. Inside. Lyrics. And this one is also on white vinyl. These guys have ties to Pig Destroyer. Scott Hole is in the band. I don't know if he produced this one. This came out on Relapse. I thought this was a newer release, but this came out in 2003. Wow. These guys are, this is again called Altered States of America. This is another band on Relapse. If you know Pig Destroyer, probably know Agoraphobic Nosebleed. Probably more, the vocals aren't as harsh, more just shouted than anything. Cool artwork. The music is more, I would say, of a grind type band. I don't know about this particular album, but it has 99 tracks on it. So most of the songs are in the 10 to 20 second range, if that gives you an idea of what you're in store for here. If you remember the song, was it My Napalm Death Scum or whatever, it was like 4 seconds long. These guys have a lot of grind in their songs, and they have samples and weird lyrics. And up here at the top it says 100 hits of pure acid. I can only imagine some of the song Honky Dong, Famous Last Words, Children Bone to Bits by the Busload. I'm sure that goes over well with the PC crowd. So yeah, looking forward to listening to this. I'm pretty sure I've never heard this Agoraphobic Nosebleed 10-inch. So if you're ever out there shopping for records and you can find a grab bag or hey, there's an auction, I'm going to get a box of whatever, 10 inches, and you know some of them, you can kind of guess what else you may or may not get. So there was some punk rock in this particular batch, and I've pleasantly surprised. I got a Agoraphobic Nosebleed. Really happy with this. So I got a ton more stuff, guys. I got a whole big ass box of 45s, probably about, what did I get? 85 to 97-inch records, and a lot more 10 inches and some 12-inch Eddie Cochran records. So we'll get into those later. So thanks for checking this out, guys. If you like this video and you want to unbox, watch me unbox. Be sure to check out the next videos. I'm probably going to do a whole series of these just because I've got so much stuff to get through. So if you know any of these bands and you think you know of a great album I should check out by them, link it below and I will do so. Thanks, guys.